Welcome to Module 6 of this program, Business Data Analytics using Power BI. My name is Rupam and I welcome you all to the journey into the field of data analytics using Power BI. And in this module, we are going to talk about the data visualization techniques. So one of the most important section of how to churn data so that it converts into a meaningful segment or actionable line items, you can call it, right? So for this, we have a great agenda today. So let's have a look at the agenda. So this module is divided into two sections. The first section talks about the principles, grouping, and the best practices, and in terms of, let's say, the data preparation, why data preparation was important in terms of the visualization. So that also we will be checking. And what are the visualization types that are present actually. So visualization types, the format, these all things we will discuss in module 6 part 1. In part 2, we will talk about the custom visuals and how to get custom visuals, what are the benefits of using custom visuals, how do we create data alerts. So those kind of things we will be seeing, and then Q&A features, and using the concepts of slicing and dicing, conditional formatting, how do we use a theme, dashboard or reporting theme or something like this, and then how do we enrich or increase the usability of the reports. So definitely we will also talk about the bookmarks, and so all these things and all the new features of Power BI are coming up in this particular module. So let's begin. So for this session, what we have done is we have got the data. So first of all, we will open the session notes. So in case we need this place, so we will be using it. And then what we have done is we have got module number 6, the same ERP data. So we will continue our journey from there. So we open this ERP data because this has got all ingredients that you require for learning Power BI precisely. So as you could see that this particular file, we have already done some kind of testing work, and what we are going to do now is to enhance this, to take it forward to the next level in terms of visualization, because whatever we have done till now is all about the DAX part, creating different types of DAX. We have already shared a reference with you in terms of DAX in case you need to take any further help. So definitely. Let's have a quick look at the measures that we have already built, starting from average price and then stock, and then how to find out a particular, revenue for a particular category, particular item. How do you create the calendar date, start and end, and other things. Creating a average, creating a ratio, and also creating the target values. So that also is an important factor in this particular demo over here. And definitely we have created the MTD, YTD, QTD, and previous year. So all these things, so it is already covered in the last module. So what we will do is now we will be using some of these measures into visualization sector. So usually what happens is we create the first screen. So suppose we create a first screen and we call it as, let's say, usually we call it as splash screen. So the splash screen usually has a particular place wherein we will just put the name of the company and what is this report or dashboard is for. So this is a report. So precisely speaking, this is a report and not a dashboard. So dashboard will be something when we we will see when we go to the cloud part. So that is also a part of this particular session. We will also talk about, so the splash screen, and then we will be moving on to the visualization concepts, right? So majorly what we will do is we are going to insert, and we will see that, okay, we have insert of background. So we go to page background. We have something called add image. We will go to our data sets, and in our data sets we have an image. Let's say this is for the logistic company. We can just use this image. But when you use this image, when you upload it also, then also you see that the page is not affected. So to make the page affected, what you need to do is you will see that over here in the formatting option, there is something called transparency, which is set to 100%. So anyway, 100% cannot be visible if it is transparency is 100%. So what you need to do is you need to bring it to 0%. So when you bring it to 0%, you will see something like this. So the picture will be visible to you. And there are different options. So one, you can say fill. So it will look something like this, so that the entire picture looks very prominent. Or you have, in some cases, fit might be the case. So when you say fit, then what happens if the image is not as per the size, then it will create some issues. So it's better to go with the fill so that we see a proper image. So apart from that, in the first screen, what we usually keep is some text. So let's take an example, the text box. And let's say we take any example from here. So we go for this example. We say that, okay, there's some company name. So any name, I'm just giving some, let's say Noor Logistics. LLP, something like this. And we make it a bit bigger. We remove the background. So for the background options are here, formatting. And we bring it to this side, something like this. And it's better that we actually bring it to one line. So that will give a nice view, something like this. So if it is required, you may just want to change it to a lesser font size so that it fits this particular area, or you can try to fit it in some other locations also based on the picture. Absolutely. So suppose I am fixing it over here. So don't worry about this spellings and all. So this will not appear when you go to the other, when you publish it. So it will not be visible. So you can see it is not visible now. Now apart from that, what happens is that you should have one option which shows the date, the current date maybe. So what you can do is you can just take a measure, and usually what we call it as let's say last refresh, right? And last refresh we give just nothing but today. So today or today -1 or something like this. So we can, so usually what happens is this should be the date of the last transaction that has been recorded within the system. But here what we are doing is we are just keeping today -1 just to show how this date kind of thing can be taken over here. So last refresh is here. We bring in last refresh and we convert it into a card. Now what happens is last refresh is actually taking date and time. So remember we said that we can change the format. We click on the format of last refresh and it says that it is into date time format. So we say that, okay, we don't need date time format. We convert it into date and then we say that the date is converted. And then what we do is we have options over here through which you can definitely trigger the size of this. So suppose it says I just want it to be this size, and definitely we would like to remove the background so that it looks something like this. So make sure when you are keeping this particular data over here, so I'll just give you an example. Right now, this is, let's say the month is May, 3 letters, but when it comes to, let's say, September, December, so we need to keep that space. So these are small hints or small techniques that will actually make your report alive, and it will be used extensively for doing any kind of visualization properly, right? So this much of space it is going to use, and you can see that there is a grid layout over here. You can see the grid layouts from here, so you can snap to grid and grid lines. So what happens is that the visuals, it will be easier for you to, let's say, position properly. So like this. Now what happens is, this is the splash screen, and then what we will do is we will be creating the next set of screens. So suppose this is another page which we are bringing in, and we call it as summary page. Now the question arises, what kind of summary, what kind of visual and all these things we are going to design over here. So for that, what we need to do is we need to go back to our slides and see what visuals can be built and some guidelines if you can get it from here. So let's move on to our presentation. So starting with the visualization, let's begin this journey. So visualization, it's not a new thing. It's like a very old concept. And if I may just talk about visualization's history, or if you just look into your surroundings, you will find the answers. So let's take an example. If you must have seen an image of, let's say, a control room. It could be an ATC, or it could be any other control room for any manufacturing unit. That place is filled with dial gauges and small meters. Then let's take an example of the flight cockpit, or for that matter a locomotive engine, or for that matter a car. So all these places are filled with visuals. Without visuals, these applications or these devices, these engineering devices will also not function properly. So let's take an example of a dashboard of a car. Now a car, today's car has got more than 100 sensors, starting from the tires, then the fuel tank, then the environment, then the seat belts, then the passenger seats, air pressure, and radiator, engine functioning, vibration, you name it. You have sensor for everything in a high-end car that we are talking about. Now these all data need not be visible in the car dashboard, right? So what has happened is there are some policies, or let's say some principles that are used to finalize what kind of visualizations will be seen on that small area that you have on your dashboard. So we cannot make a car look like a cockpit of an aeroplane, right? So we have to be minimalistic. So then what happens is, so earlier days, your dashboard used to have, let's say, at least around 10 to 15 different meters or gadgets or something like this. Today, if you see, it is just maybe a tablet or maybe a mobile screen, and that's it. And everything can be controlled or viewed or monitored using that single screen. So things have become, the growth of digital medium has enhanced this visualization also to a large extent. So if I may call about this, let's say the sensors of a car. So each and every sensor reports to a particular format for reporting, let's say. Each sensor, so most of them are IoT sensors, and they have some gateway, and there is a log format and there is a reporting format. Now, only selected components from that reports are shown in a dashboard. So dashboard is much like a higher level thing. So you cannot call it as a granular level, it will be a higher level. So only the best of the best will come and then fit in that particular segment. So it was suggested by British graphics designer Nigel Holmes years before that why don't we bring this, I mean the visuals that we see all around into the purview of data analytics, or basically to say in mainstream digital mediums actually. So for the general audience, what we call it. And he suggested the use of tables and charts. Let's have a look at it. So for any kind of visualization to work, we have to first of all go a step back and understand what are we doing with this all data. So the first task is that we are exploring, finding a story. So everything around us is a story, and every story need to have a particular audience, and it has to be made for an audience. So the first part is exploring, and the second part is explaining. So exploring means finding the story. So you just try and analyze data and see, do we have any patterns, anomalies or trends or something, finding that story. And explanation is where you actually start telling the story, explaining it. Explanation is where the visualization comes in picture. So let's have a study and understanding of this visualization. There are several types of visualization that any, for that matter, I mean, I'm not talking about only Power BI, for any tool that supports visualization, that can support all these things. I mean, be it a time series, be it a network, be it let's say, kind of a chart, a regular chart, a trend line or something, be it a matrix, and nowadays we have something called infographics also. So it can be anything out of this. Now, before we proceed with any kind of visualization, we need to have an understanding of the preparation also, preparation side as well. So data preparation is equally important. So when you say data preparation, so first thing is that you need to have the separation of fields, consolidation, and before that we need to just delete the unnecessary data that is around us. Transforming data is an integral part of this entire process that we follow. And then changing the formats before and after, also making the corrections to this particular data. So these are the actual components and concepts behind the data preparation activity. Then we come to the point wherein we say that we have an understanding, we should have an understanding that what is good and what is bad. So let's try and see some of the examples. So there are some examples in front of you. So the first example, let's say if you see, this example is a map visual and data points are embedded on top of that map visual. Now the point is, why this is a bad example? So it is a bad example because if you see these are all only dots. So it is as good as telling that, okay, I have business in these regions or these areas. But it doesn't tell me how much is the magnitude of the business. So for these kind of visualization, it is always suggested to have the third dimension, which is the bubble. So a dot can be made only by X and Y. So when you have something in X and Y, you get a dot. But when you get the Z direction, then you get the bubble size. So you need the bubble to be presented on this map to make it actually important or like that. Then comes this. So here also we can see that many lines are there. So many sections are there, which is a line format. And so you should be avoiding that particular part also. You should have some, number of lines which can be accommodated in this particular chart, not much. The same goes with all of these patterns. You can see that there are too many data points in a smaller space to showcase, and these are pretty much bad example in terms of visualization. Let's see some other examples as well. So this looks like a good example, but there are some issues with these examples also. So when you are putting up a chart, let's say a bar chart, usually when you put a bar chart, when you have a bigger text to define the series data. So you have, let's say, different types of products coming in different categories. Then they were talking about the colors. So colors should be also have, you should use your own colors, your own theme or something like this. We will see this during the same module, the concepts of themes and other things. Then comes the concept of, let's say, if you have data coming in, it should always be in an order, either descending or ascending, whatever. So usually it should be a descending order data. So, from the measure that you follow. Then suppose if you talk about this fourth one, what it says is that there should be equal margin set up in different, in a particular chart. Then comes the size of the fonts. So it is, you can see that sometimes the size is bigger, sometimes the size is smaller. So, if you notice this particular label, so the size has been made bigger. So ideally it should have uniformity in the sizes. Then we have this option wherein we see that the size or the distance between the bars are not adequate. So you can see that here they are adequate, but here they are not adequate. So the padding has not been given properly. So these are some of the factors that we need to take care of whenever we are creating visualizations. Then we have issues with labels. You might have too many labels, or there might be no labels, and the way the x-axis, y-axis is put up. So you can see challenges in all these places. So these are all examples which we should be avoiding while working with data visualization. Then comes some examples. So we will talk about some bad examples and good examples. So this is an example, where you can see that multiple segments are used to define this data, and it is a bad example. Then we can see the right hand side, this particular image. Image has been put as a part of the chart, which is also killing the purpose over here. We need to understand precisely that why do we need this visualizations? We need visualizations for 4 different uses: comparison, composition, distribution, and relationship. Now it is not enough to just understand that, okay, these are the 4 ways to work with visualization, or these are the 4 ways to share your data story. So there are other things as well to be taken care of. Now what are these other things? Let's have a look. So when you say comparison, actually we need to first of all understand whether the comparison is over time or it is among the items that we have within the data. Then when we talk about distribution, we need to see that whether it is for a single variable or it is for multiple variable, 2 variable, many data points, single data points. And then when we talk about composition, we have to see that whether it is static or it is changing over time. So these all things needs to be taken care of whenever we are working with charts. So visualizations predominantly, 2 variables and 3 variables. So most of the cases you will see that our data should be always arranged in a format which is the best case scenario in terms of what is possible with a particular data set. Let's have an example, some examples of good visualizations. Let's see how the charts and the reports are designed. So we will be following similar kind of patterns in our data set as well. So first of all, we need to see that whenever we are making a report, so the top side usually carries the KPIs, the most important KPIs. Either we can put it in the top side or we can put it in the left side. At the top right, top left corner, we should have you can say the name of the organization or the logo. This part is actually the canvas area where you will be putting all your charts details. This bottom section is actually for the filters if you have any, and the left hand side section is to give the name to this particular report. So this is ideally a way or a format, how you put your data. There are other examples also. This is another example wherein we put the data in a format wherein on the left hand side panel we have all the KPIs, and then at the top we have the name, and then we have a filter if required on the left hand side, and this is how it looks like. It depends on the space that you have. It depends on how much I can say the spread of data you have over here. There could be some cases wherein we need to think of visualizations and configurations of the data actually. So majorly what happens is that when you just keep one you can say a chart and you want to explain this chart, so there should be three things. We need to have some call to action, there should be a proper header out of the data, and there should be some narrative out of your chart or visual that you have. So if you look at this particular chart, so you can see that there are a couple of things we need to take care of. First of all, if you see, how do you suppose if you want to present it to a board? So this single chart should be speaking directly. So now suppose you say that you are asking for 2 FTs. This is a small case study. Let's understand this, because visualization is all about perception and building a perception around some data, right? So now if you just go to the board and say that, okay, I want to hire 2 people. So we need to have supporting documents and elements regarding that, along with that, right? So now here what happens is we say that I have a strong case where we need to actually hire 2 people and we need the approval for that. Why? So you can see that, okay, maybe this is a call center, this is a contact center, customer care, something like this. They receive tickets and they process tickets as well. Now, if you look at this entire graph, so last year, what has happened? So what they are saying is, till May, we did not have any issues. So whatever was coming was handled. Whatever volume was coming was actually, the tickets were handled properly. The problem happened when in the month of May, 2 people quit this organization. So in that case, the major chunk of the tickets were not getting processed. So what was happening is we were receiving volume also. So we were able to manage till June and July somewhat. But the moment it came in August, let's say, so in August we received spike and we tumbled actually with the same, the strength that we have within the team. And then finally, if you see from that August to December, it was consistent that we were not able to achieve the target, or we were not able to cater to the ticket volume actually. So that calls for an action. So you can see that one chart is giving the narrative, it is giving header to that chart, and it is giving a call to action also. All these things in one place. So now that we have understood so many things and so many aspects of visualization, let's see it in live scenario. How do we prepare this visuals? So we will set up the summary page, and what we are going to do is we will keep this data. I mean, first of all, we can just have the some space. So suppose we have this taxing page. So this helps. This works very in a good way. So you already have this. Let's say the 4. We copy this and we can just go to here and say paste. So eventually, if you see that we have already created some section over here, and what we do is we just go here and say shadow, and it comes like this. Then we talk about the second section, so the first and the second, and then we bring in, so the second also needs to have, so shadow, what happens is it clearly demarks that particular data range. And then we have the third, and for the third also we bring in this shadow, and finally like this. So we immediately get an understanding of this particular data points. So usually what happens is you don't have to drag this individually or something like this. All you have to do is you have to bring in the first and the last, and then what you need to do is you select all of them together and then go to format, and there will be an option called align, and you can simply say distribute vertically, and you will see that automatically. So as I told you in the beginning that this is a tool which will give you a feeling of PowerPoint, Excel as well as Access. All these 3 things will be merged in this particular point. So now that we have got the left hand side of it, so what we can do is at the top right corner, definitely, we don't need to again bring it. We already have a splash, and we Control C. So this is how you build the report actually. And if you feel that okay, the word is too long over here, we can make it small, because we need to have everything within this sector itself. Then what we do is we bring in the logo as well. So what we can do is we can go to an option called image, and then we can bring in the logo of the company, and then what we can do is we can set it up over here. So if you want, we can put it like this, and then what we can do is we can bring in text box, and we can say this as expense analysis report like this, and we increase the font size based on the area, the location, how much space you have. So based on that you can create this. Okay, and maybe we can just have as a option like this. So now what happens is you are creating a look and feel, and then you can just decide on making it bigger or something like this. And I prefer to bring all these things into a shadow mode, so it gives a feeling of a 3D setup kind of thing. So you see, like this. So you have all options wherein you can select some colors as well, and you have all options. So I will show you more details things also. So suppose this is the navigation area or the location. So what we usually do is we take some page background, add some image and some image, and then make it a bit. So it is all about presenting your story. I mean, that's the most important thing. And usually when we go to the background, what we do is we increase the transparency. Suppose something like this. We cannot increase the transparency of a logo, so it will stay like that. And but all of these we can just go ahead and go to the background and increase the transparency somewhere here. We can always go and something like this, press enter. And then what we can do is we have options. So these are the things that we need to just do some kind of experimenting, what we can call it. Okay, so something like this. And then what we need to do is we bring in the slicer as well. So we can copy and paste the slicer from other place as well. But what we are doing is we are just bringing a slicer, thinking the product categories in place. So the category name will be available, and we have already seen how to convert this into a horizontal chiclet. This is called a chiclet slicer, something like this. And then what we can do is we can bring in the concept of the shadows. We can remove the background, something like this, or maybe we can just have a transparency the way we have it for others. Talking from the items perspective, we can bring some colors over here. So this is what our slicers might look like. And usually we don't have this header so that it looks uniform. So something like this, just to give it a nice look and feel. So what we do is we will bring it to the same level, and then so there are two options. Ideally what I prefer to do is I take this a bit up like this, and this one as much low as possible. So this is not looking nice. This one is perfect. And then what we do is we use this particular area so to bring in some other text or some kind of an image or some kind of, let's say, I would rather say a status bar kind of a thing. So here we bring in some status bar, or we can just ready or something like this. So we can just put some shadow and the same background with some transparency. So just to give some uniformity and aesthetics actually. So what we do is we bring it over here. So this place will be actually used to showcase some information actually. So we might be using it for some information, but actually what happens is it gives an aesthetic look, and sometimes we might just want to use this space. So you can see this is the maximum space that we have. So we press all these KPIs, And if you see that, okay, there are some space, so what we can do is we can see that this much space is available. So we utilize all the spaces to the maximum, so that the visuals also look proper. So what happens is, now we have got 4 of them, and what we do is we just go to format and we go to align and we say align vertically, and now this is the location, this is the place wherein we are about to visualize data. So the canvas area is now set. So we have the KPIs on the left hand side, filters, and then we have this middle section over here where we can bring in some visualizations. So now what we will do is we will be using this particular place for some a couple of visualizations. So we bring in a visual, and here we are just talking about bringing the revenue. So this is my total revenue that I am bringing, and I just wanted to bring the total revenue based on some products. So we have the product name and we bring in the details. So if you notice over here, so this is the area that we wanted to use for the products. So products and revenue that we are seeing, and so we give the aesthetics and the looks, whatever is required over here by this data. And then what we do is, so we can see it captures this much space over here, and then we see that similar cases. So we have the total revenue by product, and then what we will do is we can bring in a second, just copy and paste and then bring in the second visual. So we can just make it a bit like this, and what we can have over here is not the revenue, but what we will have, the orders. So we can have the total orders over here, and instead of product name we can have the customer name over here. So the customer name. So you can see that there are 2 back-to-back visuals which are showing one total orders by customer and another you have the revenue by the product, right? So these 2 things, and then we have this particular area where we wanted to showcase the revenue, let's say, over time. So we have the revenue, and what we do is we take up an area chart. Oops, sorry. So make sure you are outside this all visuals. So you bring in the area chart, and we bring in the total revenue, which is by value. And then what we do is we bring in the date. So you can see the date, and this date we can just bring in like this, and you can see how it works. We don't want maybe the direct year. So what we can do is we can go a bit deeper, one step deep. So we will talk about this in a while, just to talk about when we say drill down and other things. But for the time being, you can see how this visual is giving us. So this was to bring in the data into a place where we can actually showcase it, so that information can be churned out of this. So that's the look and feel that we are referring to. So this is the summary page that we have prepared over here. So we will go back to back into different modules. But as of now, this is the module where we are talking about how to initiate. I mean, when you have the data, how do you initiate to bring numbers on a canvas? There are many things that we are going to learn in the process, but this is just the beginning of bringing the data on the canvas. So see you in next section or next part of module number 6.